So how's it going, Hammers? Question for this week is basically surrounding the whole thing with the COVID and the financial situation. So West Ham reportedly spent 70% of last season's income on wages alone, and with COVID going to be having a financial impact, there was rumours suggesting that clubs might need to look at their youth systems in order to cope, in terms of the transfer window. You could be looking at 2 transfer windows, 4 before most clubs get back to normal. Now, based on this, do we think our current youth setup is good enough, or do we need further investment? Now, I wanted this question because I think it's going to be extremely difficult to answer, but ultimately I'm confident in what we've got coming through. When you look at the goalkeepers, like we're saying about Fabianski's not getting any younger. There's reports even saying that the management team think he's regressing. But we've got 2 really young keepers in Trot and Hayek or something like that. But they're both promising. They can step in and look to do a job. It could benefit the club massively. This, it could be a little blessing in disguise, because we were known as the Academy of Football. We stopped producing for some reason, and stopped giving those youngsters an opportunity. Now they've got the chance to come through. When you look at the full-back situation, we've been crying out for left-backs and right-backs. Now, I rate Fredericks, I rate Cresswell. But I think that they need people to push them. And Ngakia came in, done brilliantly, in the games that he played. Hopefully his contract gets sorted, and he continues to play in claret and blue in the east of London. We've also got Ben Johnson, who can also play right back. He's also played left back and done a very good job there against, at the time, the best team in the league, in Man City. So, we've got areas covered there. We've got a young defence centre back. I can't think of his name. He's gone out on loan, but X rates him very highly, and so did the club. You got Dean Garner, who's done a fantastic loan move at West Brom, proved dividends, and I'd like to see Dean Garner back. I wouldn't find it too much of a loss as well. It might be an unpopular opinion, I wouldn't find it too much of a loss if we even lost Anderson in the summer. And we had the likes of Dean Garner, Bowen, Antonio, Fornals, that could all play off and around Allaire. Obviously that rules out the likes of Yarmolenko as well. No drama if he left. We've got Xander Silva, he's coming back, and he needs a chance. We've also got likes of Connor Coventry, Josh Cullen. Now, at the end of the day, are they marquee youngsters? Probably not. But will they do a job? I believe they will. I believe they're capable of doing that job. And, I still think when you look at those players there, when you look at other clubs around the country, what are they producing? I don't think there's that many, really. Obviously Liverpool's got a good academy, City, Chelsea. You'd like to think the likes of Arsenal and United have as well, but really, anybody else, are they really producing anybody at the moment now, giving them opportunities and proving that they're good enough? I don't know. I don't think so. So yeah, overall, I think we will be very comfortable. I don't want us to be silly and just sort of say, well, do you know what, we can afford to sell all these players, like I said, but like Yarmolenko, and that I'm happy for the club to move on, you know, in my opinion. And like I said, it would Lanzini, I think, needs to go. And like I said, I really wouldn't be that upset if Anderson left, if it meant the likes of Dean Garner, who was on ridiculous form, put that form in the Premier League. Yeah, like I said, you've even got Nathan Holland, don't forget to mention him as well. But yeah, so that's just my thoughts anyway. I'd love to know what everybody else's are. But yeah, until next week, come on you Irons.
My answer for this week's question isn't as simple as just choosing one answer. I think it's a combination of both. I'll start with youth investment. Obviously, we all know about Ngaki's contract leak last week. And to me, the details of that leak show that the board aren't as keen on investing in our academy as I think they should be. I've been shouting on multiple platforms for a while now that next season is our youngsters' time to shine. With the situation with football and the lack of money that I think is going to be put into the transfer window, I think it would be a good choice to have offered him a better contract, considering that, in my opinion, he should have been the first choice right back. We only have Fredericks because of Zabaletta's contract ending, so this is a right back that we desperately need. And for me, why spend elsewhere when we've got someone that shows promise? And I think showing promise honestly is enough. We should be taking a gamble, a punt on our academy players. And he is good. He is a good player. And I think he should be first choice right back 100%. I think he has it in him. And I think they should have offered him a contract to reflect that. We also have Ben Johnson. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, why not just not have Ben Johnson play? I actually prefer Ngaki over Ben Johnson. And also Ben Johnson has a bit of a dodgy career record like most other West Ham players. We need to be taking chances, like I said, on our young players. Otherwise, I can understand why they wouldn't want to stay. Those players need to feel valued, and they need to feel that is shown in their contract and their wage. Obviously, we don't 100% know what's happened. Details are specific, so it's, there's two sides or three sides, and then the truth. So, that may or may not come out, but I think they could have offered him a better contract. But on to another player I would definitely like to see come back to us is Dean Garner. There's a place for him on the wing. We need him. We need him whether we go down or stay up. I just think we need him. We need our youngsters, and those are the two that we need. That being said, I don't think we can rely solely on our youth. We need to be looking, and I think in the Championship, to fill other spaces in the team, because there's other positions that we need to buy. We need a left back. Cresswell's good, but he's just good. We need someone else there. We also need another striker to give Hilaire some support. If I could choose two players, my left back would be Jamal Lewis from Norwich, and if they go down and we stay up, I think we'd have a fair chance. And my striker would be Ollie Watkins from Brentford. I think it's fantastic, and I think he'd fit in fantastic with us. Whether he'd come to us, I can't say. But just to reiterate, really, we need both. We need investment in our youth, and we need investment elsewhere to fill spaces. I feel like we've got youth to fill particular spaces, but other spaces I don't think we do. Or if we do, they're not ready. Whereas Diangana and Gakia, in my opinion, are ready. I hope everyone's well and you're all keeping safe. Take care.
Hello everyone, coming to you from sunny San Diego. So with the financial strain that the COVID pandemic is placing on the club, I feel like the owners will be looking towards our youth academy. Unfortunately, I feel like over the last few years we haven't really invested into our youth, which is really sad considering we were the academy of football, but now I feel like it's a former shell of itself. But that being said, I feel like we do have a few stars that are up and coming. Like Grady Diangana, who's killing it over there at West Brom. You know, he's got 5 goals, 6 assists this season. Unfortunately, being a little injured, but he's still killing it. I feel like he'd be a perfect fit to be coming up into our first ranks. We also have Nathan Trott over there at Wimbledon, who is, you know, their primary goaltender at the moment. I feel like he'd be a great third seat for goaltender. You know, anything's better than Roberto. We also have Nathan Holland over at Oxford, which he's doing a bang-up job over there. And luckily we do have Ben Johnson, who just, you know, is fully healed and ready to commit. And my biggest concern is Ngakia. I really, really hope that they reconsider and redo his contract and we get him on our squad. I think him with Ben Johnson will be a perfect, you know, complement just in case one of them gets injured. But we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks. And as always, stay safe and come on, you Irons.
Hi, good evening everyone. The question this week is, with the virus ongoing and finances being sort of harmed and affected, a lot of clubs will be looking at the youth system next season to save money. Is that the right way to do it, or should we do something else? I think, for example, when you look at our sort of youth record, you don't know when the players are going to sort of come up in either batches or kind of any single players that are going to be able to make it to the first team and play really well, keep their position, carve out a good career. So, I mean, you look at West Ham, you got sort of Cotty and Dickens in 83. Then you had a bit of a large gap until Potts and Ince arrived in 89-90. So that's a 6-7 year gap. Ferdinand 96. That's a 6 year gap. I know in between 1996, Williamson came in. He didn't really sort of do anything after moving to Everton, so it's a bit like Jack Collinson. And then you had the Johnson, sort of Defoes and the Coles and Carricks and Lampards who came together. And then since then, like I said, it's been only Collinson, and he, due to injury, didn't really much happen. Then you got Rice and then Noble as well. So you get the odd one, but you're usually looking at least 4 years before one comes through that's really good. So you can't rely on the youth system all the time. You have to work alongside buying players, obviously, in the open market. And also it's risky as owners in the Premiership. I mean, it's very easily saying if you're manager of sort of West Brom or sort of Ipswich or Sheffield United or someone else, they've got a plan where they're not going to spend any money hardly. I know Sheffield United didn't recently, but overall, especially in the summer, they're not going to spend anything, and the fans are used to that. And if they go down, they keep the same squad, and the finance structure is not affected. With us, we've got a lot more overheads. So if it doesn't work out, we've only got 2 windows to correct it. That's the issue. I'm a traditional believer. I used to love the windows. You know, they used to close in March. Until then, you could buy whoever you wanted. But we've got to get it right. So imagine that we do rely on the youth. We don't buy as many or any players in sort of 2 windows and the gaps. And you know the way our fans are, they're going to go nuts. David Moy is a good one. I mean, he does like to bring players on, certainly if not from the youth team, then from the lower leagues. So he's the right man to spot sort of good players like Ngakia and people like that. So we're looking at Diangana, Ngakia, Johnson, Silva, Connor Coventry, Nathan Holland. But it's a risk. I think you've got to work alongside still buying someone. Even though try to buy someone maybe a little bit cheaper. Don't offer silly terms as things have happened in the past. But I don't believe that football's going to change, or socially we are. I think by June, July, things will begin to get back to normal, and by September, I believe schools will be open, universities will be open, football will be back to normal, and you get those stupid contracts all over again. So don't fool you that these 2-3 months things are going to change. I don't think so, unless the Premier League does something about maybe putting a cap on earning certainly what the agents earn. I think that's all we've got to do, put a cap on what the agents earn. Every time there's a deal that's delayed windows due to how many people want their share out the deal, the coffee maker, the guy who drives someone around, the agent's assistant, there's 4 or 5 people hanging on for millions each. And this is what we need to cut from the game. So in conclusion, we can't rely on it too heavily, I believe. It puts more pressure on the players. And due to the transfer window only being open twice, I think you've got to just be patient. So I'd carry on as normal, but try to bring 1 or 2 bit more in if possible. But it's too risky for a club like West Ham. If it doesn't work out, then the player will be destroyed, or we'll kind of struggle in the lower leagues, if not go down. So I think just carry on as normal. And David will know if someone's ready to make the step up, I think. So come on, you irons.
All right. So today's question is are our crop of youngsters good enough to step up to the first team? Or do we need some more investment? Well, I would like to think that they were. But this is the global thing with football, really. I don't like the way that players are brought in and then they're shipped out to other teams and loaned out. I don't think it does them any favours, really. You want them to understand the workings of West Ham, or the club that they are with, ours, which is important, West Ham. So, you know, how it works, the ethos behind the club, you want to get it in their blood. So when they go out there and they're trying and playing and all that, they ain't playing for themselves because they just think, oh, I'm playing for a paycheck. Oh, I want to play well because I want to play for a big club. They want to play for us because they live and breathe and die West Ham. You know, that's what makes a winning success of a team, in my opinion. Yeah? Looks what, when we have had success in the past, what happened? Moro, Bonzo, Brooking, you know, Cotty, all those people, they all came through, didn't they? And they were blooded into the team, you know, and they were all West Ham fans, and they all got it in their blood. Why? Because, you know, they came in and they were taught what it was meant to be about an hammer. You know, like looking at some statistics, that Nathan Holland, he's a midfielder, he's gone to Oxford, right? He's had 10 appearances, 3 goals. He's the best statistics. League One, he's playing in. Dan Kemp, he went to Stevenage, 6 appearances, 1 goal in League Two. And Connor Coventry, he's had 7 appearances for Lincoln in League One and he ain't scored any. And they're all midfielders. Yeah, all gone out on loan, which is all right, you know. But good for them individually, but I don't think it's good for the club. So they're not good enough in my opinion. You know, they would get swamped. If I was the manager, you see, I would have these youngsters back playing for their respective reserve teams for the club, but you'd have 1 or 2 on the bench. If they've had a good run in the team for a couple of games, get them on the bench and then get them in and play them for 10 minutes, you know, 15 minutes in the second half. You know, there's no harm in that. That's how players become used to playing in the top league and in the team. That's how I would do it. That's how I think it was done in the past. That's how I believe old Johnny Lyle and Ron Greenwood did it. You know, that's what I would like. So then we've got to invest. You know, we've got to invest in buying established players. You know, people are banded around that Nathan Clyne and all that at Liverpool. If you ain't getting it at Liverpool, why is he going to come here and then all of a sudden start again? You know what I mean? He's getting paid good money at Liverpool to sit on his backside and do nothing. Where's his hunger? You know, that's what I'm saying. Where's the hunger of these players, these bargain basement, Harry Redknapp type players? You know, he bought a lot of rubbish, didn't he? Got a couple of diamonds, but he spent a lot of money and on a lot of rubbish. T.E. Kamara for one. Stroll on. Don't even go there. Scores 1 goal and then disappears. Looks so unfit, that geezer. So unfit. But there you go. That's my opinion. I won't ramble on too much, but that's my opinion. We've got to invest. I would like to see, if Moyes has got anything about him, I would like him to bring in lads and do it as I said. Have them on the bench, bring them on. So that's it. Take it easy. Up your hammers. Come on your eyes. Stay safe. And all the best. Cheers.
We have players good enough to be in the first team. Yeah, we probably do have a couple, right? Diangana, Ngakia, Johnson, I'd argue Cullen. Like, there's a few people there who should be getting first team opportunities. But the idea of investment, do we invest enough in them? I mean, I can make an educated guess, right? I don't know these things specifically, but I mean, we don't invest enough in coaching and first team training facilities and all that sort of stuff. So do we do it for the youth team? Probably not. Let's be real about it. We don't spend enough anywhere. But the biggest problem for me, and it's the one I can speak about most, is that leap, that graduation point when a youth team player becomes a first team player. When an 18, 19, 20, 21 year old goes from being an under 23 player to a first team player, right? Do we invest enough in that specific moment? No. And when I'm talking about investment, I'm talking about investing time, investing effort, whatever you want to call it. We just don't do it. The prime example being Josh Cullen. Josh Cullen has been in stasis, it seems, for years. For like 3-4 years at this point, right? He's just been sat there winning Player of the Year awards at, be it Charlton or Bradford or wherever, and then coming back for pre-season, doing decent in pre-season games, going back out on loan again. Now, you could make the argument, of course, that managers don't think he's good enough or whatever. If they thought he was good enough, he'd play. But would he? Realistically, I mean, look at Diangana. I think everyone would agree that Diangana is at least worth a place in the squad this year. Like, I'm not saying first team starter, I'm not talking about even on the bench. I think everyone would just say he would be a player we would be good enough to have in the squad. Anderson, Antonio, Yarmolenko, Blanzini, Wilshere, Fornals, Snodgrass, maybe take away Wilshere. But these are all people who play in his position. Is he going to get in ahead of any of them? No. And that's because we just don't invest in getting these players first team opportunities. We don't invest in that graduation stage. Yeah? Look at Liverpool, right? They can put an entire youth team out in a senior League Cup game and whap a team 4-0 like it's now, right? Whereas not only can't we do that, but we don't do that. Diangana, Cullen, Ngakia, Johnson, these are people who should be seeing first team, route into the first team. Look at what Reece Oxford said the other day, right? He said he had to leave West Ham. Now, leave your feelings of Reece Oxford to the side for a second. He said he had to leave West Ham because he felt like he didn't have a path to the first team. It's no wonder players like that want to leave, because they're looking at it and saying, well, they're going to get some rando in from wherever without wanting to pick. They'll sign Carlos Sanchez instead of giving Josh Cullen a chance. Excuse the potato mouth there, but you understand what I'm saying. No wonder people like that want to leave. And let's be real, if Josh Cullen wasn't good enough and they didn't think Josh Cullen wasn't good enough, they would have sold him years ago. Why is he still kicking around, going out on loan after loan after loan after loan, hitting 24? Like, what's going on? Because we don't invest enough at that stage, and without doing that, we will never see consistent first team footballers at West Ham from the youth team. Because we have people who are good enough, but we just don't give them the time of day.
For West Ham fans everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. Never miss a thing with the latest West Ham news, gossip and social stories as they break. Download the free COY Irons app now from the App Store and Google Play.